always read the previous inspections. Well, good morning, everyone. Okay, this is a really important thing that you have to do as a consumer to make sure that your representative is helping you to the absolute fullest extent. You know, the thing about coming to Texas, whether you're coming to Texas for the first time and learning how to buy a house here, and it's, you know, I get people all the time, oh, Audra, I've bought so many houses in my lifetime. I got this. I'm like, okay, great. This is going to be so fun because you speak my language. And it turns out you don't, right? And even if you have bought a couple of houses and you live in Texas, you don't do it every day. And that is the big difference, okay? Now, this is something that you need to make sure of all the time. When you are interested in a home, the very first thing you look at is the seller's disclosure. There's typically two types of seller's disclosure that you can fill out in Texas as a seller. It is a shorter one that doesn't have as many details, not as many check boxes, and then there's a longer one. And depending on the property, depending on the seller, they get to choose which one they use. One thing does not change. If there has been a previous sale in the last 4 years and or any kind of inspection on the property, it should be disclosed to the buyer. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. If there's been any kind of inspection on the home, whether it's by the current homeowner or a previous person that you were disclosed to on that property within 4 years, should be disclosed to the potential buyer. So, everyone that has ever worked with me knows that I am a disclose type of realtor, and there is no reason to not disclose something. Okay, we either solve the problem or we present the problem. Okay, and either way we negotiate it, but everybody knows what they're getting into when they purchase the property. Now, you're a buyer, you're out there looking. You go and look at the history of the property with your realtor. The realtor should be doing the history of the property, when it sold last, what they've done to it, how old are the mechanicals, all the things that you're supposed to understand about the property. And then the question, even if they're not listed on the seller's disclosure, should be presented to the other realtor saying, has there been any inspections on this property? That's it. That's the question. Okay? Shut up and stop talking and ask the question and wait for an answer. Then if they have not already asked their seller that question, which that should have already been answered, then they're going to turn around and say, hey, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, has there been any inspections on this property in the last 4 years? They're going to answer the question with yes or no, or yes, I did, yada, yada, or I did, yada, yada. Great. So, nope, they've lived in this house for 10 years. They've had no inspections on this property in the last 4 years. But let's say the answer is yes, and it sold in less than 4 years, and they did have an inspection that was listed on the seller's disclosure. This is the ticker. Read it and use that information to ask questions, sometimes prior to even going into contract. Also read it and share some of the hot buttons with the current inspector when you go to inspect the property. Okay? Very important information that you need to know as a consumer if your realtor does not have your back in that department. Read it. Okay, that's it. Have a good day.